Hello guys, this is Fuad Gamer. So as you know, the Rebellions patch already implemented from few days ago, and probably most of you already happy or disappointed from this patch, especially since some of characters didn't get any significant change, or instead they got too significant that changed how they played completely. As for me, I'm kinda in between. And before we continue, I wanna make sure that this entire thoughts and assessment is based on my own experience when using these characters. So maybe it will somewhat biased for some characters, and maybe it won't same as the others feels when they using these characters. And without saying, I'm only could do an assessment to the characters that I have, because I'm not gonna blindly assessing the characters that I don't have. Let's start from the Wire SSRs. Aside from Zeta, which is sadly I haven't get her from gacha until now, the others is get the short end of the stick. Agilba get counter from his substitute skill same as the luchador class, but without having any form of surviving from little hit. Because of this, he probably still end up dying when tanking Ogi just as he was intended for. And the new cooldown of his third skill doesn't help him too much either. The third skill was originally intended to help him survive after tanking Ogi from bosses, while also giving him an enmity buff. But these days, people tend to gain enmity buff while also getting risk having the HP at the lowest possible to achieve highest damage when attacking. But his third skill is give him less damage as the turn passed, since it will also heal him for 2000 HP. And that defense up boost after his Ogi is gonna make you stall on damage rest, since you must be using his Ogi on the same turn of boss Ogi in order to optimize his substitute skill. Honestly, as a fire tanker, both Sutra, the fire version, and now is still much better option than him. As for Clarice, her kit still function as before, but get some nice additions this time. Her first skill get a fire resist down the buff now, and it serves as replacement in case her death down the buff didn't land. Her white nuke dispel skill cooldown also get lowered much, so that way you can use it as a skill damage in a long run rate when her dispel isn't necessarily needed. And she also giving a debuff resist down on her Ogi now, which is a nice touch for soloing when you didn't play as an Elysian or Superstar class. And when coupled by her passive, it also increases your success rate when landing the buffs on enemy. Charlotta finally mastered her Jack of all trades style. Her passive stacks give her additional attack boost and also rest her multi-attack rates on each stack, while also have a nice cute icon. This really helps her when she's attacking, since she usually doesn't get any boost from Bahamut weapons, because most of water player tends to using Bahamut dagger on their grid. When she's stacked enough, she could out-damage some of other water characters, even she doesn't get any boost from other Bahamut weapon a set of Bahagan. But her stacks lose when she getting hit, so if you want to keep her stacks as long as possible, you probably want to bring Ingui or Uno on your party. But if you're not prioritizing her stacks too much, a simple blind debuff will help a lot, and her one turn invul from her third skill when she reach level 100 will also help her to sustain her stacks as long as possible. She also give a nice numbers on her Ogi now. Her base Ogi damage got increased, and she got same treatment as Siegfried. Echo on Ogi without any restrictions. Her Echo is same as Siegfried, 90% Ogi damage and capped at 700,000. All of these stuffs made her value as a balanced characters increased, but maybe you still want to bring more focused characters in certain battles when you don't really need her handy 50% damage cut. And now two of Wind Attacker SSRs get some fairly nice buffs. Vina only get her Ogi damage cap break buffs according to her Crusher stacks, but this is one of two things she desperately need after all this time, while the other one is her first skill duration got extended. Please make it happen, Fukuhara. This buff gives more value to her Crusher stacks for veteran Wind players, since probably most of them could reach her Ogi damage cap even without needing maximum crusher stacks. I don't know what is the maximum number possible that could be reached by her drills now, but a friend told me that her Venus Augie could reach 1.7 million damage easily now without full effect of enmity from the Magna Grid. As for Melisabel, she finally has a spot for long-running raids now since both of her skills has damage cap over 1 million now. But as the downside, for her reaching those caps will take a long turns and also a lot of button clicks. Not to mention the animation will also getting longer, who made her bad for racing. But at least now she will gain spot for those players that still lacks better win attackers that gonna replace her. Being a currently Earthman, these Rebellions patches really made me happy even I'm still haven't get Uncle Cake until now. But the rest of characters got a quite significant buffs to their kits. Before he getting patched, Eustace is known as an Augie Matter Eater for filling his slot stacks, and to do that it will take a very long turns and matters, rendered him to not so useful for short or mid turns raids. But with the new patch, not only he gain a 50% attack up on normal modifier every he use his second skill, but also his Augie will gives a 100% critical buff to entire party for 3 turns, aside of the Augie turn. And in case you not remember, Eustace has an EMP passive that allows him get DATA buff every he use his second skill, making him easy to ramp up matter by himself. But maybe you will still want to have Octo or SSR Eugene to help him fill his loaded stack faster, or just using multi-attack buffs from your MC. The only thing you wanna look after when using Eustace, that hopefully his loaded stacks won't get dispelled by some bosses before you reach the chain burst, and keep him alive of course. And I'm quite surprised that a SR got a very decent buff this time. When she got released, Yaya is designed as a cute little Dora filler that also has a Rage 2 buff with a decent uptime. But after she got patched, she became an excellent buffer in Earth now, especially to me who still lacks of buffer on my Earth team. Her second and third skills cooldown got lowered so much that when using her, you will only have 2 turns without the HP regen that kept 500 HP heal per turn, and only 1 turn without the buff from her third skill. But as the downside, she will no longer deals damage on her Augie, but she will heal all of the party except her, and the heal capped at the 2000 HP and gives 50% attack and def up buff for 3 turns. And her passive skill is also changed. When previously she only raised the attack and defense of all the draft characters on your main party, but now the rest restriction is lifted, and she will raise attack and defense of your entire party no matter what the rest is. All of these hot spicy stuffs really made her fried rice more worth to eat than ever. Honestly, I'll probably gonna use her on long run raids as my buffer until I got better characters later, especially when she's being a draft and a spec character. Make her very synergy with my current Cosmos spec Sword Magna pool. And for the last, the Dark Element gets some new fun things as the addition for the existing kits. Araga finally got what he deserved. The damage cap of his second skill increased from previous cap 1.2 million damage. My maximum cap is currently at 1.7 million, but it will be probably increased more when my pool getting better and maxed his enmity and critical EMPs. And his third skill also changed into unique modifier just like Siegfried's Manigans. But unlike Siegfried's nice long uptime, Araga still suffers at his low uptime for his self-buff skill, and his new passive skill at level 95 got new effects that makes him tankier as his HP get lowered. With this passive, he could be a tanker while sustain his enmity. You could utilize this new passive by pairing him with several dark characters that could reduce their own hostility such as Orchid or Fate with their EMPs. Beatrix became more strong in auto-attacking than before now. she's get the same kind of enmity buff just like her fire versions after she done an Ogi. Although the enmity buff isn't easy to trigger unlike the fire ones, she still gets same high damage when the buff is active. And she also gets a new passive that increased her dodge rate based on how low her HP is. I haven't tested her at long rates just like Grande, right? But she could dish nice numbers even she is still at full HP. Of course, to utilizing her into full capacity, you still need to keep her doing triple attacks in every turn. This could be done by using multi-attack buffs, Triumph effect from Cortana, and of course using her own Delta clock setups. If you still don't understand how her clock works, you could always check my previous video about Beatrix on my channel. Kerberos is always known as a debuffer with high rate of triple attacks, but has a low stats. But as time passed, she's more overshadowed by newer and better characters in Dark Element, as she doesn't have any more means to compete with other stronger dark characters. Finally, Cygames decided to give her a unique kit in order to giving her a spot for high level rates. Now she will give an stackable debuff resist down when she's triple attacking, which is an easy feat for her to do since her innate triple attack rate got increased up to 50%, and she will gain 50% triple attack buff after she's done an Ogi. Make her will get 100% rate of triple attack for 3 turns after Ogi. This will give her some offense power to your team while also providing extra debuff resist down in a rate since the debuff has separate multiplier with usual debuff resist down, making the success rate of landing debuffs bigger than before. Since some of high level battles really dependent of several important debuffs such as Paralyze and Fear in order to make it easy to finish it. But maybe some of you prefer to bring more firepower when doing multiplayer raids to get many points as you could than providing stuffs that could make your battle easier. But all of that is up to you. For me, I'm probably still using her on my leeching team since I want to help other players could land the buffs more easier on a raid so the battle can be done easily. So, this ends my assessment and thoughts on the latest rebalance in Granblue Fantasy. This is probably the biggest patch they ever done, and I really appreciated with their effort to make old characters could compete with the newer ones. Too bad I don't have few characters that get spotlights in this patch, since I would really love to using them with their whole shiny new kits. If you have any thoughts or maybe have disagreement on my several points in this video, please let me know in the comments below. Please click the like button if you like this video and don't forget to subscribe if you want to watch more Granblue video. I'm Fuad Gamer and see you on the next video.